In the headlines of this hour on VTV News, Socio-Economic Report to become the blueprint for action and sustainable growth. Later on, Vietnam strengthens urban areas as drivers of national growth. And in our world news, US and Houthi forces continue retaliatory strikes.
Broadcasting from Hanoi, the capital of Vietnam. VTV News starts right now.
Good afternoon. It is currently 3 p.m. local time and you're tuning in to 30 minutes of VTV News. I'm Dylan Lei with today's updates. On Monday morning, Party General Secretary Theo chaired a meeting with the Socio-Economic Subcommittee of the 14th National Party Congress. Prime Minister Phie, who is the head of the subcommittee, was also present. The draft socio-economic report has been updated to be more concise, focused, and actionable while reflecting global trends and strategic decisions. General Secretary Theo commended the draft's emphasis on stability, development, and improving people's lives. He noted that while the Congress political report provides guidance, the socio-economic report must serve as a concrete action plan. He directed the subcommittee to tackle key issues, including government streamlining, provincial mergers, and growth model adjustments, moving from innovating growth toward establishing a new, high and sustainable growth model. The Party General Secretary also emphasized the critical need for breakthroughs in science and technology, along with attracting both FDI and indirect investments in this new development phase. On Monday morning, State President Leung Keung met with the ambassadors of Greece, Colombia, Panama, and 6 non-resident ambassadors who presented their credentials. He expressed hope that the ambassadors would successfully complete their terms and continue serving as bridges to enhance relations between Vietnam and their respective countries. The state president emphasized that collaboration is key to unlocking cooperation potential, sharing development experiences, and creating favorable legal frameworks for economic, trade, and investment ties. He stressed the importance of countries sharing common perspectives on international issues, cooperating in multilateral forums, and addressing global challenges to ensure a fair political and economic order based on UN Charter principles and international law. State President Leung Keung reaffirmed Vietnam's commitment to serving as a bridge connecting countries to Southeast Asia. On Monday morning at the National Assembly Party Committee's Standing Board meeting, National Assembly Chairman Trần Thanh Mẫn discussed upcoming election plans for the 16th National Assembly and local people's councils for the 2026 to 2031 term. He also addressed proposed amendments to the election law and ongoing revisions to certain provisions of the constitutions. The goal of these changes is to streamline and optimize the structure of the political system in the years ahead. The National Assembly chairman emphasized the need for tight coordination between the National Assembly and government agencies to ensure that proposals are prepared thoroughly and presented on schedule. He also highlighted the importance of promoting political education and public awareness to align understanding and actions with the party's directives for the country's development. Infrastructure challenges strain not just traffic flow, but also education, healthcare, and other vital sectors. As urban populations grow rapidly, infrastructure development has failed to keep pace, hindering economic progress. Meeting the goals of 45% urbanization this year and over 50% by 2030 requires prioritizing high-quality, integrated infrastructure systems. The critical first step is addressing legal and institutional barriers.
Hanoi loses $3 billion annually due to traffic congestion. While the city's transport infrastructure should cover 20 to 25% of the central urban area, it currently spans only 12%. These challenges extend beyond transportation to other sectors, highlighting the urgent need for comprehensive infrastructure development.
Để thỏa thuận với người dân hay thỏa thuận vào Reaching an agreement with the people or determining compensation prices for land clearance is extremely complex. Compensation rates vary between provinces, creating inconsistencies. Additionally, overlapping and unclear legal frameworks with contradictions between different laws, decrees, and circulars further complicate the process.
Vietnam has 913 urban areas with a 42.6% urbanization rate, comparable to the Asian average. With a rapidly growing urban economy contributing around 70% of the national GDP, experts believe that addressing bottlenecks in urban infrastructure development will unlock greater socioeconomic growth for localities.
Thousands of projects remain stalled, especially in major cities like Hanoi and Ho Chi Minh City. Despite legal and institutional reforms, issues persist, requiring further amendments.
Stronger development in transport, housing, health, education, and culture is crucial. With urban areas contributing 72% of GDP, boosting urban growth will drive economic progress.
Each city, especially major ones, must identify key policy breakthroughs and take decisive action. Through the development of high-quality, integrated infrastructure and improved quality of life for residents, urban areas can serve as the nation's primary engine of growth.
This year, Ho Chi Minh City must complete several key projects to meet the central government's targets. However, the lack of cleared land is affecting the progress of many key projects. As a result, compensation and site clearance have become the top priorities.
The An Phu intersection construction project stands as one of Ho Chi Minh City's most important infrastructure projects. While its completion was targeted for April 30, 2025, the project now faces delays due to pending land clearance of over 22,000 square meters. Currently, the investor and construction unit await the city's resolution plan before proceeding.
Suppose we finalize the policy this April and we choose to freeze the old problem and continue with the new plan. The soonest we'll have the site would be the end of the year, so we still have to move the 400 water pipes. Then the construction of the entire overpass branch may have to be done within 1 year.
At the Ring Road 3 project, although the site clearance rate has reached 99.8%, during a survey of the progress of the Ring Road 3 project, Ho Chi Minh City leaders still requested that this work be completed quickly to avoid affecting the project's overall progress.
This is a public transport project that serves both the country and the city. With 99.8% already in agreement, there's no justification for further delays. We must enforce the process strictly and swiftly complete the site clearance to hand over the land to the contractor for completion.
Ho Chi Minh City has also established a special task force to review and address obstacles affecting construction projects and land plots. To resolve current challenges, the implementing unit suggests either reducing the required land acquisition area or delegating the land clearance to another unit.
Through the Ministry of Finance SME Development Fund, small and medium enterprises can access loans at interest rates 30 to 40% below market levels, particularly for projects in value chains, industry clusters, or innovation. However, disbursement remains challenging, spurring new efforts to streamline the process.
Having invested more than 250,000 USDs in high-tech machinery, the company that produces rubber equipment molds for Toyota, Tesla, and Honda relies heavily on loan capital for its success. The business can borrow up to 70% of its asset value at a fixed 4% annual interest rate for up to 7 years.
Lower equipment depreciation reduces product costs, enhancing competitiveness. After acquiring this machine, we secured more orders from FDI enterprises seeking cost-effective production in Vietnam, meeting their requirements.
Currently, 9 banks partner with the fund to evaluate loan applications, though many applications face rejection due to procedural issues.
Inconsistent interpretations among banks, branches, and credit officers often lead to rejected loan applications, leaving businesses frustrated in their pursuit of low-interest funding.
To address this, associations are strengthening their role as intermediaries, offering free training programs to support businesses.
We invite the SME Development Fund officers to our headquarters for training, coaching, and consulting sessions, organizing them by industry and job groups targeted for disbursement.
As of February, the fund has approved more than 37.5 million USD in loans, a figure expected to rise as procedures are streamlined and loan appraisal criteria are standardized between funds and banks.
Rice prices in the Mekong Delta rebounded last week, with regular paddy prices at the field level exceeding 5,500 Vietnam dong per kilogram. Vietnam's export rice prices also increased slightly to $392 per ton. In contrast, other countries like India saw decreased export prices due to weak demand and fierce competition. Domestic rice prices trended upward, with 5% broken rice averaging 10,293 Vietnam dong per kilogram, an increase of 79 Vietnam dong per kilogram. Similarly, 15% and 25% broken rice varieties showed price increases, while white and brown rice recorded modest gains. In the Mekong Delta, farmers have completed harvesting approximately half of this year's winter-spring crop. And before we move on, let's have a look at the exchange rates between the Vietnam dong and some world currencies in today's market. Coming up next on VTV News. A National Housing Fund established to support low-income citizens. Later on, Vietnam restores royal edicts to preserve cultural identity. Welcome back to VTV News Live. Now on to other important updates. The Prime Minister recently instructed the Ministry of Finance to establish a national housing fund by this March. The fund will serve as a key mechanism to guide the real estate market towards stability and sustainable growth. It will also coordinate funding sources to promote affordable housing development, addressing the needs of middle and low-income citizens.
As one of Ho Chi Minh City's leading social housing developers, this enterprise is struggling to advance its projects. Currently, social housing loan funding is limited and interest rates are prohibitively high.
The National Housing Fund will collaborate with banks and state budget sources to secure funding for 1 million social housing units. The strategy's swift implementation depends entirely on securing these financial resources.
Funding is crucial for the fund's success, drawing from state budget allocations, social insurance funds, pension funds, and financial institution partnerships. Eligible citizens with real housing needs will be able to access loans at low, fixed interest rates, potentially as low as 2.5% for 30-year terms.
There must be a transparent and effective process for capital mobilization and fund utilization to prevent losses. Strong policies are needed to serve both the people and businesses.
We propose naming this fund the National Housing Finance Fund. This would establish a unified management body that oversees financial resources dedicated solely to funding and developing two types of housing: social housing and affordable commercial housing.
With the establishment of the National Housing Fund, experts have also proposed a price framework for affordable housing, averaging 3 billion VND, 117,000 USD per unit. This serves as a key leverage point, helping millions access housing while regulating the real estate market, curbing speculation, and driving long-term economic growth.
In many rural areas, households are scattered and far from centralized water supply stations. Limited local investment resources make it challenging to extend pipelines to all households. However, through various solutions implemented by the government and relevant agencies, more rural households now have access to clean water, especially during the current dry season. Our report from Sopchang Province.
The Thoyan Hoi water supply station in Gaesak District, Sopchang Province, is expanding its pipeline network by 5.6 kilometers. This extension will provide clean water to 180 local households. Currently, 64% of rural families in the province have access to clean water through the centralized water supply system, with the target of reaching 68% by the end of this year. Sopchang Province is currently implementing 4 centralized water supply stations to connect and support nearby stations, funded by the Ministry of Agriculture and Environment.
Extending pipelines from existing water plants helps address part of the issue, while building new plants in concentrated residential areas provides a complete solution. For households in other areas, we have allocated funds for water storage tanks.
Due to increasingly extreme climate change, saltwater intrusion and drought conditions remain unpredictable in the years ahead. The Ministry of Agriculture and Environment, with government support, will continue helping localities improve their rural water supply networks.
Phu City must urgently execute multiple tasks to prepare for the 2027 Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation, or APEC Forum. The most pressing priority is preparing key infrastructure projects for this important event, beginning with the swift handover of cleared lands to investors.
The red land area has been designated for a new square and conference center. Following the project's launch ceremony, the local government began land clearance work. To be able to do this quickly, the process has been expedited through a well-prepared compensation and resettlement plan.
We, the people, fully support a new, reasonable place to live. We also agree because this serves the common goal of local development.
According to the government-approved plan, Phu Quoc will upgrade its transport infrastructure, including Phu Quoc International Airport. The airport will be upgraded to Level 4E specifications, featuring a new international terminal T2 with a capacity of 20 million passengers, a second runway, and parking facilities for up to 70 aircraft. The plan also includes the construction of an APEC multifunctional complex that can accommodate 15,000 people. This 69-story landmark will house offices, hotels, shopping malls, and a marina. The project is expected to position itself as Phu Quoc's signature development for this century.
We consider this not only a big event but also an opportunity for Phu Quoc to elevate its position, creating the most favorable conditions for businesses in terms of administrative procedures, site clearance, and project development support.
In addition to public investment funding, APEC 2027 projects will be developed through public-private partnerships that require participation from strategic, committed, and capable investors.
We urge authorities at all levels to take swift and decisive action. In addition, we pledge to work alongside the business community and create favorable conditions for them to deliver the highest quality results.
Once operational, these projects will not only serve APEC 2027 but also transform Phu Quoc into a leading regional destination for tourism, conferences, and trade. This development will boost Vietnam's economy and strengthen the country's international standing.
The grand finale of the Miss International Cultural Friendship 2025 beauty pageant took place Sunday night in Udon Thani, northeast Thailand. The inaugural event celebrated the beauty, intellect, and talent of Vietnamese women living, studying, and working in Japan and around the world. From an initial pool of 250 contestants representing 12 countries and territories, the organizers selected 25 finalists after 7 preliminary rounds. The finale featured segments including traditional costumes, evening wear, swimwear, and a Q&A session. Dương Thị Thanh Thảo from Đắk Lắk province claimed victory, earning the title of Miss International Culture Ambassador. The organizers plan to establish this pageant as an annual tradition that not only honors the beauty and intelligence of Vietnamese women, but also fosters cultural exchange with the international community. In central Vietnam, families and villages function as both homes and cultural hubs, preserving traditions, customs, and history. While later generations honor key figures who founded villages and protected the homeland, time has eroded many cultural artifacts, including royal edicts, which are vital records of royal recognition.
A ceremony in Nam Dương village reinstated 2 royal edicts from King Duy Tân and Khai Định, honoring founding god Nguyễn Phước Hữu Đại Lang. The originals were lost to a fire, prompting the Nguyễn Hữu family to collaborate with the Huế Institute of Cultural and Artistic Research to restore them.
We strive to restore traditions so future generations appreciate our ancestors' efforts. Understanding their hardships in reclaiming land will deepen their love for their homeland and inspire them to contribute to its growth.
The restoration of royal edicts reveals important historical accounts of the Nguyễn Hữu family role in protecting and developing the nation. Beyond honoring ancestors, this effort also educates younger generations, fostering pride and a sense of responsibility toward preserving their cultural heritage.
The restoration and announcement of the royal edicts honor the Nguyễn Hữu family while reinforcing the importance of preserving local traditions. This meaningful event serves as a reminder of the nation's spirit of gratitude and educates future generations on cultural heritage.
Restoring the royal edict is more than a ceremony. It presents a crucial step in cultural preservation. This restoration deepens understanding of ancestral roots, nurtures appreciation for traditions, and instills a sense of duty to preserve and promote Vietnam's cultural identity.
Coming up next in our world news, U.S. and Houthi forces continue retaliatory strikes. And later on, Chinese scientists achieve major breakthrough in lung cancer treatment. Moving over to our world news, the Houthi forces in Yemen claim to have attacked a U.S. aircraft carrier in the Red Sea on Sunday night, retaliating against U.S. airstrikes on Yemen the previous day that reportedly caused over 150 casualties. The group launched 18 missiles and sent an explosive-laden drone towards the USS Harry Truman and its escort vessels in the Red Sea. The U.S. reported no damage from the attack. The U.S. Secretary of Defense declared that strikes against the Houthi forces would continue until they cease their attacks on ships in the Red Sea. As tensions escalate, the United Nations and several countries have urged all parties to exercise maximum restraint and end military actions. South Korea's Minister of Trade, Industry and Energy, An Duk-gun, is pushing for another visit to the U.S. this week to request that Washington remove South Korea from its list of sensitive countries in the energy sector. This designation would allow the U.S. Department of Energy to restrict sharing of national security-related technologies, including nuclear energy, which could limit advanced research cooperation. The South Korean government is working to clear up misunderstandings with the U.S. through high-level trade discussions while highlighting areas of cooperation that add value to South Korea, such as shipbuilding and natural gas. Cuba's National Electricity Commission announced that nearly 50% of the country's power supply has been restored following a nationwide blackout lasting over 30 hours. The Commission has stabilized more than 1,000 megawatts of electricity to maintain essential services and daily activities. This outage marks the fourth nationwide power failure in 6 months, underscoring Cuba's severe energy crisis. This electricity shortages reaching 57% in recent months. Currently, the country relies on fossil fuels, primarily oil and natural gas, for 95% of its electricity generation. In response, Cuba is exploring ways to restructure its energy mix by incorporating more clean energy sources. A groundbreaking new lung cancer treatment developed by a Chinese company is gaining global attention in the biopharmaceutical industry. The drug, named ivonescimab, has undergone phase 3 clinical trials, offering hope to lung cancer patients.
In a randomized phase 3 clinical trial, patients treated with ivonescimab, developed by pharmaceutical company Akeso, were able to extend their progression-free survival by 11.1 months, compared to just 5.8 months with Keytruda, the world's best-selling cancer drug produced in the U.S. Akeso has spent a decade developing this drug.
For the pharmaceutical industry, developing a drug that surpasses Keytruda and benefits more patients is a remarkable achievement. Many companies worldwide are striving to develop such drugs, but all of their phase 3 trials have failed. Our phase 3 clinical trial is the first in the world to achieve a strongly positive result in a randomized double-blind study.
In recent years, China has made significant strides in the pharmaceutical industry. A strong supply chain, abundant clinical resources, and lower research and development costs have contributed to these achievements.
Up next is the weather forecast for Vietnam and other locations in the world. And that is all that we have for this hour on VTV News. To rewatch our program, you can visit our website or YouTube channel, or download the mobile app VTVgo for more. Thank you for watching, and goodbye for now.